Bola Tinubu returned to Nigeria on Saturday since 2nd October after he departed the country for the United States on a 2-week vacation. Now, in their 17 months in office, Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima undertook 41 trips across 26 countries, collectively spending 180 days or 6 months on foreign engagements. Reports shows that Bola Tinubu, with the longer mileage, has logged 124 days abroad, visiting 16 countries on 29 trips. He has also accumulated over 127 flight hours.
The kind of work he's been doing in the last year and a half requires some rest, and he's gone and he's back now, and he's well rested, rejuvenated. And again, it was even just a working holiday anyway, so he was working and resting at the same time. Now that he's back in Nigeria, all hands are back on deck, and he's ready to go. He's the captain of the captain of the plane, and he's working to get to a cruising level, which is exactly where we're going. And in a matter of time, Nigerians will begin to see the fruits of his labor and our labor. And so, I mean, just we're all expectant and hopeful, and we believe in the renewed hope. And Mr. President is back in Nigeria to continue the good work he's doing.
Now, talking about Bola Tinubu, the making of an authentic political philosopher, we will say that in just over a year, those who claimed Bola Tinubu was pro-democracy activist with the powers of a master economic strategist have all faded away into oblivion. There is neither democracy nor economic relief in sight. All we have now are hirelings either digging up excuses to explain policy failures or trying to buy more time for the man who built Lagos to perfect his plan to capture the Nigerian state and turn it into a private estate. Reality has also set in for both friends and foes of the Tinubu presidency, but let's cut the Tinubu some slack. The real Tinubu has always been in plain sight. A few chose to believe the fictional Tinubu, a creation of a well-paid spin doctor. The rest were also silenced by a dubious electoral victory and a curious judicial verdict. Tinubu is doing exactly what he is hired to do. I will explain. Tinubu knows only one way of life. It's the life of the jungle, where might is right, where ethics and morality have no place, where only the fittest survive. Sometimes by eating the weak and the vulnerable, he has lived his life this way. Some say he took certificates from schools he never attended or graduated from. Others, on the other hand, say he took an identity that was neither really his. Whatever they say, everyone agrees that Tinubu simply got used to taking what does not belong to him and getting away with it. That's life on the Sherigati. When Tinubu gives, it is strictly to buy the souls of men, to do his bidding, or to look the other way. Like when he gave the presidency to Muhammad Buhari during the 2023 electioneering campaign, where he said, "Elections are not served a la carte. You have to grab it, snatch it, and run with it." For the benefit of those who may not understand the French component of that expression, a la carte literally means according to the menu price. Originally from the 19th century French restaurant culture, it refers to the practice of picking and choosing dishes from a menu according to the sizes of one's wallet. Now, by contrast, a dinner or consumer may order table d'hôte. That means to order a multiple course menu with options and side dishes, often at hefty prices. The latter is usually for clients with deep pockets who want to have a feast, whatever the cost. That's precisely what Tinubu means. That's exactly how Tinubu plays. He buys whatever he wants in truckloads at the price that they can give a healthy man a heart attack. He was speaking in the specific context of the 2023 elections, which he went ahead to procure lock, stock, and barrel. We are all living witnesses to how that transpired. Now, in essence, Tinubu neither subscribed to the concept of majority rule nor seeks the greatest good for the greatest number. All he knows is self-actualization and self-perseverance and self-preservation, just as fish cannot survive out of water. Tinubu, on the other hand, cannot survive outside the pursuit of narrow self-interests. And just in case anyone missed the point, he also gave us the famous words, Emilokon, which means it is my turn. Indeed, that is all there is to be about him. Nothing else matters. Bola Tinubu has refused to make even the token gestures of cutting down the salaries, allowances, and privileges of public office holders as a mark of solidarity with suffering Nigerians on whom he has imposed crushing economic policies. Why, you might ask? Because Tinubu is not a man accustomed to personal sacrifices. He's a beneficial leader, not a sacrificial leader. Now, also, he uses public offices and the perks that goes with them to buy the loyalty of cronies who do his bidding. Tinubu perfected this practice in Lagos State, where he used state coffers to build a court-like political elite since 1999. In reality, Tinubu never ceased to be the governor of Lagos State after 2007, when he officially left the office after serving 2 terms. He simply began appointing puppets while holding the strings behind the curtains. Today, Tinubu have taken the art to a whole new level by pulling the strings of those who pull the strings. For instance, he is pulling the strings of former governors who are now pulling the strings in their own states far away from Abuja. Call it advanced 3D puppeteering. The plan clearly is to roll out 37 puppets across Nigeria as quickly as possible. If he cuts the perks attached to the offices he dispenses, appointees might not be so fiercely loyal, making him vulnerable. So, it makes no sense to expect a man of Tinubu's temperament to accede to popular calls to cut down the cost of governance by reducing the number of political appointees and their perks. To do so is to commit political suicide, certainly not Tinubu. Another key indicator of the Tinubu persona is his attitude to the workings of national economy. Clearly, Tinubu does not think highly of economic principles aimed at mass prosperity. He only understands personal prosperity, and his personal prosperity comes from direct and indirect access to government coffers. So, if Buhari emptied the nation till before leaving the office, Tinubu must refill the coffers by every means possible. That includes taxing the hell out of people and pulling government away from basic public services that put pressure on state finances, however useful to the common folk. By astronomically jacking up direct and indirect taxes, the Tinubu government has become a major enabler to inflation, which it should be fighting. Even the CBN under Tinubu is raising market interest rate at every single opportunity. This sends an ominous signal to the market. That's why prices are out of the roof and climbing on a daily basis. No one is sure what their cost of doing business would be overnight. So, out of here, they push up the prices of their own goods and services. It is no longer about the dollar exchange rate. It is now about the fear of the Tinubu economics. This Tinubu is also a master of handouts and palliatives. Have you noticed that every time the people say they are hungry, Tinubu throws out a few bags of grain, cartons of noodles, student loans, or a new minimum wage at them? none of which makes any real difference in their lives. That's because he doesn't really want them to be able to fend for themselves. He wants them to be perpetually independent, perpetually dependent on him for survival. That's how he gains control over the people, including all his acolytes, proxies, and supporters. Tinubu is also a master of the game. He deliberately weaponizes poverty instead of building mass prosperity. That way, people are so poor, they are only preoccupied with survival. They are too poor to mobilize against the real enemy, and when he throws a few loaves of bread their way, they are not only too happy to scramble for pittance. It's not a mistake though, it's a choice deliberately made to keep the people down and distracted while preserving his hegemony. Till I come your way next time. Obidient Family TV.